to seeing the mix of the new and the long time membership. This is what makes TechSoup so special. And just a second, I'm going to introduce you to somebody else special, my colleague, Stephen Jackson, who is going to take us further into this webinar. Stephen, you guys have a great webinar. Over to you.
Hey, thank you so much, Aretha, and thank you everybody so far who has joined. We're going to kind of allow folks to filter into the room before we get started. Great to see all of you who are already here and to see how long some people have been part of our wonderful community here at TechSoup. We, as a nonprofit ourselves, it is truly what makes us get out of bed every day is to make sure that we're helping nonprofits in our specific way, which is of course around using technology. So welcome everyone. I think this is going to be a really great session. We have some really awesome presenters who I will introduce to you in just a moment. So it's right here at the top of the hour, 10 a.m. on October 23rd. So, just a few more. Please let us know how long as you filter in, how long have you been part of the TechSoup community? I loved seeing all of the very different degrees of participation that everybody's had with us at TechSoup, because even if you're just getting started, we're just so excited for you to be here. Okay, Wendy, 8 years, Christina, 6 weeks. Great. Well, hopefully you will continue to kind of dive deeper into all that we have to offer for our nonprofit community. Just getting started, Trina Kriya. I don't know, Trina Kriya Theater Company. So thank you. So I think it's good to get started really quickly. I will give some more introductions about myself in just a moment, but we have about 81 folks here. So glad again that you have joined us. So first of all, a little bit of housekeeping, how to participate. So if you'd like to participate, please use the chat. I will be taking a look at all questions as they're going through, and we will do our best to answer them. We're going to try to have some time near the end of the presentations to go over any of your questions, whether it's about TechSoup, whether it's about Giving Tuesday, or whether it's about Share Charlotte, who again is our nonprofit guest presenter. So we'll get to all that in a moment. You can use Q&A to ask questions, and to display a full live transcript, just go ahead and click that close caption button where it says show caption, so that can help you along if you need it. Next up, we have our little bit of introduction. So at this point, I'm so happy to invite to the stage our colleague Victoria from Giving Tuesday. So Victoria, I'll stop for a moment and allow you to introduce yourself to the crowd.
Thanks so much, Stephen. Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria Leonhardt. I'm the Senior Manager of Giving Tuesday's US and Canada Hub. I work with our incredible community leader network, people like Melissa, who you'll meet in a second, who are organizing collective giving on Giving Tuesday. And we've learned some really great things over the years, how nonprofits are leveraging different tactics to really expand their networks, bring in new donors, amplify the work they're doing. And I'm so happy to share some of those with you today. So thank you so much, Stephen, for inviting us, and happy to pass it over to Melissa.
Hey, good afternoon or good morning, everybody. All right, look, I flipped here a second. So Melissa Hovey, Executive Director with Share Charlotte. We're kind of the OG in the Giving Tuesday world. We've been hosting Giving Tuesday here locally for 11 years. So really excited to share what we've learned over the years with all of you, and just what works for us and how to make it your own. So I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. And thank you both for being here. My name is Stephen Jackson. I'm the Chief of Staff of Strategy and Communications at TechSoup. I am here at TechSoup really helping to tell our story to the world, but also to ensure that all sorts of different special projects around TechSoup are running smoothly. I work to head up the communications function here at TechSoup, and again, just sort of engaged in storytelling in many different ways. So, before we get started with these wonderful presentations on Giving Tuesday, and again, this is really great information. I'm so glad that folks who have made it are here, because this is stuff, truly news you can use to help these campaigns on all of your behalf. But first, I'd like to talk just a little bit about TechSoup, if maybe you're joining TechSoup for the first time. So, who we are. We are a nonprofit organization that's been around since 1987, and we equip change makers with the transformative tech solutions and skills they need to improve lives globally and locally. Our mission is to build a dynamic bridge that leverages technology to enable connections and innovative solutions for a more equitable planet, right? So it's really what we're involved in, really in the weeds of making sure that individual nonprofits, communities of nonprofits in the sector at large really is able to access, adopt, and optimize the use of technology at their organizations so they can do more good in the world. So over the last 12 months, and truly over any given 12-month period, we serve about 300,000 nonprofits or equivalents, NGOs or charities around the world by connecting them to the resources, solutions, and supports that they need in service of their mission. So our mission is sort of your mission, and one way to think about it. Our goal now, very specifically, is to help organizations find the resources and support that are necessary to manage their tech and digital solutions. So what does that look like? Well, so again, we ourselves are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our goal is to support all of you who are here in nonprofits with all the tech you need to help build a more equitable planet. We have a catalog full of affordable technology products, both donations and discounts from many of the major tech brands, including Microsoft, Dell, Intuit, Wix, Adobe, Autodesk, Norton, and Amazon Web Services, or AWS. We also offer services that help nonprofits install and manage software and hardware. We have courses and trainings to help nonprofits and their staff build their tech skills and expertise. And we have lots of grant-based programming that really is focused on strengthening global civil society with specific interventions to sort of build the tech infrastructure of the sector that's needed. So how does it work? If you're not already a member, I just, again, it's so cool to see in the chat how many folks have been here well, I have to first give a shout out to Sue, who has been a part of the TechSoup community for over 20 years. So thank you, Sue, for being a part of this wonderful journey. So for folks who aren't Sue and who maybe just are getting acquainted with us through this webinar, so it's really easy to join. You join TechSoup, you choose your membership tier, which I'll get to in a second. It takes a little bit to get validated, but once you're validated, you have access to so many resources in just the catalog alone. The cost savings that you can benefit from is, for some folks, is truly game changing. And if we don't necessarily have that solution available, we're happy to make sure that we're pointing you to the best place where you can get it. So again, how do we join? You go over to our website at TechSoup.org and you click that join button. And the way that we deliver services is really through the model of membership. So as we always have, we offer nonprofits a membership at no cost. And so that means that if you need to just access the catalog, you kind of know what you want to get access to those discounts or donated products, you can get that just by being a nonprofit in good standing, right? And you sign up, you are then validated, and you can access the catalog to get all the tech that you need. And of course, you then have the portal to get all sorts of trainings and courses and services and all of that within what we have to offer, right? So we get the DIY membership, which is no cost. Now, we also have a higher tier of membership where you get access to Quad. Quad it's a $200 per org per year membership. And it's truly, it's a very cool thing. Quad gives you is an online community that we run that gives you access to all sorts of really deep educational content, small ask me anything webinars, but with much smaller groups, so you can really get a session with a tech expert, one-to-one consultations from time to time. You have deeper discounts on the catalog itself. You have access to all 100 and 200 level TechSoup courses at no additional cost. You have additional TechSoup support. There again are member-only events. And we have this online peer-to-peer community where people are really asking questions and getting answers from their peers. Now, part of this is also an evolution right now of how TechSoup is hoping to serve the sector. And what we'd like to do in some ways, we're calling it being the CTO for the nonprofit sector. And I'm going to ask Aretha to just drop a link to a recent blog about that. That we put on the TechSoup blog just to get a little bit more information. But the CTO, or a Chief Technology Officer, is something that we believe nonprofits in the sector truly deserve, but can't always have access to. So at TechSoup, we're really working to figure out how we can better plug in and deeply understand the needs and serve our nonprofits in this evolved way. So please take a look at that blog. It's very exciting stuff that's happening at TechSoup. And please check out Quad and our other membership tiers. So Aretha, if you can drop the membership link as well into the chat. So that's enough from me. I would again ask questions about TechSoup in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them. I also drop my email into the chat if you ever want to try to reach out to me directly. I'd love to help you with whatever you need. So without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to my colleague Victoria, who's going to tell us all the wonderful ways that you can maximize your Giving Tuesday impact in 2025. Victoria, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Very excited to be here. Today, we're going to talk a lot about embracing abundance and joy to unleash generosity in your community. So how can we mobilize people, get them excited about the very important work that you're doing, to spread the word and make it the best Giving Tuesday ever? So if you're familiar with Giving Tuesday, it's coming up on December 2nd. It was created to be more than just a day for fundraising, right? So sometimes we think of it as a big day for fundraising, but it's more than that. It's a day that started as one day that was dedicated to doing good. And it's really grown into a year-round global movement with 110 countries participating. And we've started saying that it's really the anniversary of generosity, our annual celebration. We know generosity happens in community every day, but this is one day where we come together and talk about all of the wonderful things that our organizations and communities are doing. And it's really rooted in what we call radical generosity. We believe that every individual out there has the ability to give, has the ability to make a difference, that holding the door open and saying hello is just as important as making a financial contribution, depending on where you're at. And this day, December 2nd, is an incredible day for people to come together that are working towards a similar vision to create space to practice generosity of all kinds. So we're going to be talking a lot about all the ways that people are generous today. And I encourage you to think through what your goal for participating in Giving Tuesday is, because that will kind of help shape the strategies that you will be using and the tactics that you will be using as you build out your campaign. So really, the reason Giving Tuesday exists is to build a world that we all imagine to be possible. And last year, in 2024, we saw 36.1 million people participate in Giving Tuesday. It's really, really exciting to see that much participation. We're up about 7% from 2023, And when you do the math, 36.1 million is actually just slightly higher than 10% of the US population. So 1 in 10 people did an act of generosity on Giving Tuesday. And so when we break that down, of the 36 million participants, 18.5 million donated money, 16.6 million gave their voice by advocating for a cause, 12.9 million gave goods, and 9.2 million volunteered your time. And when you add that together, it's more than 50 million acts of generosity that happened. So people are giving in different ways. And it's really important for us as nonprofits and organizations doing good in our community to allow people various pathways into your organization and different ways to express their generosity. One of the ways is by giving money, right? That was the way that the highest amount of people participated. And that equated to 13.6 billion given to charitable organizations in the US in 24 hours. And when I did the math on that, that's about an average $250 gift. And that's based on the number of people that gave. So that could have been, 10 gifts of $20 to 10 different organizations that someone gave. But it is really like average everyday people engaging in generosity. Less so much a day for like major donors, but more your everyday individual who just wants to find a way to give back in their community. And we have a little bit of data on why this might be. I often say that nonprofits are an incredible vehicle to generosity, and that Giving Tuesday is a day that inspires the general population to learn about them. It's a day for people who may not know how to give or haven't yet been invited to give, to be generous. And this stat really shows it. 84% of people who are aware of Giving Tuesday were inspired to be more giving. So awareness is a big part. Getting out there, talking to the people in your networks, making sure they're aware that it is Giving Tuesday. The second stat is that 52% said that they donated to be a part of a bigger group doing good. So really leaning into that. It's an exciting day. It's a day where people are actively looking to get involved and engaged, very similar to year end, where there are very few days where people are actually looking to give. And this is one of those days where we see a large mass of people excited to give at the same time. So I'm going to share a little bit of data from our Giving Pulse. Giving Pulse is a Giving Tuesday Data Commons report, which measures giver perception. So this is actual people giving and how they say they're giving. So let's talk a little bit about messaging and community of place. This is a really interesting graph. This is 2025 data. So oftentimes we're like, oh, this year feels a little different. So I wanted to show some data on what's actually happening this year. And this is people sharing it via the survey where they give. And you can see that people feel that they are really impacting their local community of place, their geographic community. They're giving locally. That is that top bar that says local community. The two that flip-flop are beyond a local community, but within my state, and beyond my state, but within the US. And then at the very bottom, we have international. So creating opportunities for local people to come together to solve local problems or have local impact is a really great way to organize on Giving Tuesday. Your organization can really become the place that people go to make a difference in your specific cause area. And that's because generosity is a shared value that allows us to impact our community and others' lives. And we can really see it happening in local community. We, as the nonprofit sector, are here to help people flex that generosity muscle. So when we look at our next graph, you'll see in the first 3 quarters of 2025, that top line, 60 to 70% of respondents report that they gave in the last 7 days in any way. So that could be giving time, giving money, giving items, giving voice, or giving in a different way that they've identified. So people year round are giving 60 to 70% that took the survey report giving in the last 7 days. I feel like that kind of is different than some of the perceptions that we have that year end is the only time that people are giving. So we see that they're giving year round. And you'll see giving items and giving money, the two lines in the middle, the purple and the navy, flip-flop throughout the year. So let's, go to the Venn diagram and kind of break that down. Love it. You can see the largest cluster in the middle was people that actually gave in all three ways. So they gave items, they gave money, and they gave time over the course of the year. They did all three things. Next prevalent would be that 23% overlap between gave money and gave items. And then we have only items, and then items and volunteering, and then strictly money. So if financial giving is your goal, giving items or giving time could be a great entry point into your mission for people on Giving Tuesday if there is an item or a volunteer opportunity that you really need to get done that time of year. Using that as an on-ramp into your organization can be attractive to a lot of people because we see that they are giving in all of the ways. Okay, we've got through the data, we've set some groundwork. Let's talk about what building community through your Giving Tuesday campaign can look like. So first up, think through the types of community that you're building. People are part of numerous communities and identities at one time. So think about, who are you going to be engaging? Do you have a large online community that might be the place that you're going to do this work in? Is there a community, a spiritual or religious community that you often partner with that may be the ones you want to engage for Giving Tuesday? Asking these questions can help you narrow down your focus and identify potential givers that you're going to reach out to on Giving Tuesday. Because we know that Giving Tuesday presents a really unique chance for nonprofits to expand their networks and reach new supporters. And you can do this by harnessing the power of existing people in your community. You can cultivate a network of like-minded individuals who are ready to jump into action on your behalf. And if you're a smaller nonprofit, this approach could streamline how people get involved with your campaign, because you can use dedicated ambassadors to do this work instead of your team. So in the middle, you'll see I have the organizers. That could be you as the nonprofit, as a board member, as a volunteer with an organization, but you have kind of someone who is the point person for your campaign. And they're bringing in their friends, other community leaders, influential people in the space in your community, really passionate volunteers or donors who are then sharing their own story of why they engage with you with their networks. So this is like, you do need a little capacity to do this, right? Because you have to help people tell their story about why your cause matters to them. That's the really important part. Like, we want authentic reasons why people are involved with your organization. You also have to determine what your call to action is. So as these passionate advocates are out there talking about your organization, you want them to know how to make an ask. So you may have to do a little training in that area. And they need to know what the ask is. So like I said, for some of you, that may be items. For some of you, that may be advocacy. For some of you, that may be making a financial contribution. And for some of you, it may be getting a group together to come volunteer. But that call to action is so important. And really celebrating these ambassadors who are out talking about your organization on your behalf, celebrating as things are happening, right? If they get one person to do an act of generosity for your organization, like, that is a win. So cheer on their milestones, celebrate them as you're working through this process. So I have a couple pictures of like what this could look like. So at the top, you see we have a group of friends who collected items and brought them into a local item drive. You can see top center, we have a woman sharing her unselfie, which is a way to give awareness and amplify voice about the cause that she is most interested in, and hopefully get people to think about how they can participate in it, and what maybe is important to them. It could look like a personal match. So we've seen, like in this bottom corner in the red, individuals saying, I'm going to make a match to these types of causes that I care about. If you make a donation to them, send me the receipt and I'll make the same amount of donation, up to, in this case, $3,500. So oftentimes we think of matches as matches that live within our institution, but you can have matches out there that individuals are doing, in your cause areas, your neighborhoods, those types of things, really unique ways of doing it. And then we have peer-to-peer fundraising. In this example, it's using Facebook, but I know that there are many platforms out there that offer different peer-to-peer functionality. And this can be a way to give a very direct call to action to the network of the ambassador, if fundraising is one of the things that are important to you in your Giving Tuesday campaign. So, few examples about how you can mobilize. Now, who might these people be? Really thinking about your audience and recruiting the people who are out talking about you. But there might be some that are a little off the radar, ones we don't typically think of. We know that people want to take an active role in your mission if they care about what you're working on. It can look like a small business that really cares about the work that you're doing, and they're donating 10% of sales to your organization on that day. It could be a project in the schools that young people are doing to raise awareness or create something that your organization needs. It can be a civic or community organization. I was just talking about blood drives the other day with someone, and they said they had a local Lions Club who didn't plan anything for Giving Tuesday, but heard there was a blood drive. So all of the Lions Club members went out to the blood drive and gave blood, and they were taking pictures and sharing how that's how the Lions gave back on Giving Tuesday. And I just loved that idea. It can be technology partners and platforms. If you have a technology partner, local or national, you can check and see some of them offer matches or prizes through their platform day of Giving Tuesday. Or you're going to hear the example from Share Charlotte a little later in the presentation. And they're a nonprofit that has a technology platform that really amplifies all of the good work happening in Charlotte. So Melissa's going to share that example. There's some really, really great ways that they're able to leverage that. So think through who you're bringing into your mission. Think outside the box on who these champions could be, and think through ways you can equip them to bring people on board through your on-ramps. And we'll go back one to volunteer events. Definitely don't overlook volunteer events. Our Giving Pulse data shows that if someone gives their time, they're most likely to also give money and also give items. So engaging a new volunteer can help you create a pipeline of potential donors. 66% of the time, those who volunteer also give money. So using this day to host a volunteer recruitment event or a volunteer project that brings people together to really see the work that you're doing can be a great goal. And engaging new volunteers can help create a pipeline of potential donors. So make sure as you're thinking through your year-round stewardship that you're not siloing your volunteers and not having other asks for them, because we're seeing that they're the ones that truly see the impact that you're doing as they're volunteering with you and are most likely to be generous in additional ways, because like they just love your mission, right? So yeah, definitely consider a volunteer event as one of your Giving Tuesday goals. So I'm going to move into resources quick. You will receive a PDF of this presentation, and in this checklist, all of the things that are blue have a link to different documents, different parts of our website. where you can download, edit, and use things. We are all about tools and no rules here at Giving Tuesday. So you can change our logo to match your colors. You can take our press release, add your own information, and send it out. So right now we're at the end of October, which is really the tail end of this first checklist, summer and early fall. So hopefully by now you've decided why you're doing something for Giving Tuesday. But if you haven't, Generosity Toolbox is a really great resource with more than 30 activations that you can do for Giving Tuesday that go beyond sharing your fundraising link. So there's some really creative and unique things there. We also have the link to local Giving Tuesday collaborative campaigns like the one happening in Charlotte that you'll hear about soon. There's a map on the Giving Tuesday website. You can check your area. You'll also right now want to be thinking about who are these campaign helpers going to be. You'll want to start reaching out to supporters and ambassadors to get them on board with your campaign. And you'll want to make sure that you're having fun. We want to remind you that every act of generosity is important, right? And sometimes we can put pressure on ourselves to be like, I need to raise a specific dollar amount. But really, we want everyone to see themselves as givers in your community. That is really the end goal of Giving Tuesday, is a more generous world, right? We'd love to have 1 billion people doing something on Giving Tuesday. So try to have some fun, take the pressure off yourself, think of your goals as maybe not a specific dollar amount, but number of new donors, number of volunteers you're recruiting, these types of things. And then we'll move into November, where it's all about spreading the word. Like I said, awareness is a really big piece to Giving Tuesday. So November is a great time to start sharing details. If you have a match, sharing details. If you're going to be hosting an event, really starting to get the word out about what you'll be doing via press release. I've got some social posts in there. There's a link to our Canva templates, which again, go in, change the color, change the photos, really make these images your own, make them tell the story of the work that you're doing. And you'll also see some sample email copy in there that you can use as well. And then finally, we'll make it to December. So in December, I mean, the first thing, it's 1 day to go. Giving Tuesday is December 2nd. So when we get to December, we are there. You should have your content ready to go. Remind everyone of their role in this new giving community that you're getting established. And as things get going, be transparent, talk about it, celebrate it, be active both online and in person if you can be. And then after Giving Tuesday, we've got a checklist that you can use. Don't forget to like spread the gratitude afterwards. Showcase how the contribution has contributions made on Giving Tuesday has directly benefited your cause and your organization. And really, people should be proud that they're supporting your work, right? Like that's the vibe we want. So share those inspirational stories, remind them that they are a part of something so much larger than the contribution that they made. When we all come together and do this collectively, amazing big things happen. And with that, speaking of big things, Giving Tuesday Charlotte, Melissa, I would love to invite you up to talk a little bit about what is going on in Charlotte.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Victoria. Yeah, we are so thrilled to be a part of this Giving Tuesday journey for all these years. And what I love about this initiative and just Global Day of Giving is that every community can make it their own. Every community looks a little different. What I'll share with you is what's worked for us over the course of 11 years. We've fine-tuned and found something that works for Charlotte. As Victoria mentioned, we're probably maybe a little different than other communities. We are part of a technology platform called Share Good, which was started here in Charlotte in 2012, and really meant to be a online hub to make it really easy for Charlotteans to find and connect and support local nonprofits, whether you're donating to them volunteering with them, shopping their Amazon wish list, or attending events. Our founder just wanted to democratize philanthropy and make it super simple for everyone to give in a way that matters most to them. And she quickly globbed on to this Giving Tuesday movement, which started in 2012. We started in 2013 and made it our own, and it made it Giving Tuesday CLT. So, so it is the day that we use to rally generosity in our community and create a day for nonprofits to create really their own campaign, and we're all kind of singing from the same songbook, if you will. So our formula, if you will, what we've kind of found that works for us is that we create a toolkit, first and foremost, something that really helps a nonprofit plan their campaign and promotion and what really works for them. We actually are hosting our info share next Tuesday, where we get all our nonprofits together, really go through kind of how they can create their own promotion, and whether that's asking for money, asking for volunteers, asking for advocacy, or just thanking. We really help them to find what works for them. We also, and I've heard this over the years, is what we found works best for us is a media survey. I've heard a lot of other communities at Giving Tuesday events saying, it's hard to get the stories. Well, we always tell our nonprofits, we don't know what you don't tell us. So and media comes to us on this day to amplify their stories. So we try to gather that beforehand so that we have kind of a ready list of stories of impact that we can go share with media partners at our headquarters event, which I'll share in just a minute. But it's a great day to amplify all the great work that's happening in our community. And but we need to know about it. And so we grab that through a media survey. We provide sample content and graphics, so if people don't know where to start. And plus, if everybody's kind of sharing the same graphics on the same page on that same day, it just amplifies and it kind of gets across everybody's social media platform. So our campaign slogan this year is "Love Local, Give Local," and feels very fitting for this time of year. And then the Lowe's gift cards, we luckily have Lowe's in our hometown here of Charlotte. This is their headquarters, and they've been a partner with us since 2018. And they provide a match of $50 for the first 300 donors who give online. And that match is given in the form of a Lowe's gift card back to the nonprofit. So the nonprofit's really able to, kind of maybe create a whole promotion around what they need from Lowe's. So we've had, a Raptor Center who needed, new structures built in their, in their landscaping and things like that. They did a whole promotion on that. So it really is, it can be a fun way that Lowe's loves to give back in this way. And it's a great way for nonprofits to get what they need on this day. We also offer a Giving Tuesday CLT 101, because sometimes when we go over everything in the info share, it's just a lot. So we offer a 101 time so that we can kind of go a little slower and help people think through what their promotion might be. Because sometimes if it's your first time, it can be pretty overwhelming. And then lastly, our holiday giving guide is a way to kind of extend generosity throughout the rest of the year and through November, all of November too, because people are looking to give back, not just on this Global Day of Giving, but throughout the entire holiday season. So we create a digital guide that helps them kind of choose what they want to give back to. So next slide, please. This is a little bit about what our info share looks like. I think a formula that really works for us is going over the toolkit, but then also hearing the voices of other nonprofits in the room who've had successful campaigns or tried something last year through the different lens. So like this year, we're having somebody that's providing, they asked for items and they got them, or somebody that really partnered well with a corporate partner, or somebody that really helped really grow their donations and followers. And then our last panelist this year will be about board engagement. So and then we partner with a local media personality who hosts our headquarters and is our MC for our headquarters, that really helps them to understand how to tell their story in 30 seconds or less. So we really try to prep them on this day. So if you want to go to the next slide. And then, excuse me. Oh, that says info share. Sorry, it should say headquarters. But what that day is really, it's a day to create content. We found that's what really helps tell the stories. And so we create a headquarters, we invite nonprofits, board members, VIPs, funders, anyone and everyone to come out for this day. So our first kind of half of the morning looks like just rolling nonprofit interviews with a local media personality. And they're there to really just say, hey, really quickly, here's who we are and here's what we're going to be asking for on Giving Tuesday. And then we take a break and then we do corporate announcements, because corporations many times, their generosity gets lost during this whole day too. So we try to create some time. So if they're donating something to a nonprofit kind of in the spirit of generosity of Giving Tuesday, we try to allow for time for them to promote that with their big checks and things like that, really to celebrate those partnerships as well. But what Lowe's has been such a great partner. I can't say enough good things about them. They've kind of helped do any crazy idea we came up with. One year I said, could we create an entire winter wonderland using all of your blow-ups and trees and all their fun items? And they said, we love it. So we basically are able to create a winter wonderland at our headquarters. And then we donate all of the inflatables or whatever we get back to nonprofits after the event is done. Because our event also, spans a few hours, we're trying to get people, keep people busy during that time. So we've created hands-on volunteering opportunities as well as scavenger hunts and things like that. So it's really just trying to create a really fun atmosphere that people can come celebrate generosity on this day, learn about nonprofits, celebrate each other, tell stories, grab great content and great pictures, and share their impact on that day. So, and then I said at the end, get your board to help manage the chaos. Our board loves getting involved on this day and volunteering and helping control media and just really helping to be part of that day. So that's what's worked for us for the past 11 years. And I really appreciate you guys allowing me to be here today.
And it has been so incredible to watch Charlotte grow. Melissa, thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm sure there will be many questions about how you did it when we get to the end. But I just wanted to recognize that what Melissa is doing really leverages the moment of Giving Tuesday, right? Like there are clear, realistic goals for why Charlotte is organizing in this way and the nonprofits that are participating. As you referenced, there were like 4 different things, items and board engagement, and these different goals that nonprofits were setting for themselves. You really tether that giving moment together with other strategies. I love the holiday gift guide and how Giving Tuesday is an amplification point, but generosity is year round, and this guide helps get through year end. The messaging that you have is so human, actionable, community focused, and the selfie station to generate content from other people, incredible, so good. You have all the ways to express generosity. I love that about the nonprofits in Charlotte. They really think through what they need the most, and that's what they go for. And you really curate a few to get to the many. Bringing in those VIPs, those people who are going to take the selfies, do the interviews. If I remember correctly, you have a news person that comes, right? And they're doing this. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about
Yeah, we have a local news anchor that MCs for us and does that, but we invite all media partners. And I mean, last year we probably had 5 different stations that came out on that day, doing multiple interviews. So media is looking for stories on this day, and so don't. So you send out a press release, you probably won't hear anything, and then boom, they're there, all showing up on the same day with their cameras and their microphones. So. I would say be bold in if you are going to plan something, let everybody know that it's happening, because you'll be surprised who comes.
So good. So really leveraging that moment. Amazing. Melissa, I don't know if your guide or your toolkit is ready yet, but if you have it, maybe we could put that in the chat for people to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think I linked to last year's toolkit in there.
Awesome.
which I think our toolkit, let me just check with our marketing director, make sure we can send it out, but I'm sure we can. I'll find it really quick and drop it in here.
Awesome. Thank you. And Giving Tuesday is also rolling out weekly content to help nonprofits plan their campaigns. I'll put that in the chat. It's givingtuesday.org/participate. And each week we cover a different topic. This week is communications. So if that is a topic you're interested in, there's some great resources there. And we'll continue adding content each week up until day of Giving Tuesday. So very excited to be offering that this year to help you all plan your campaigns. We did it. We got through all of it. There's so much to talk about Giving Tuesday. And I really wanted to try to leave time for questions. So thank you all so much for participating in the webinar. And I'm excited to hear some of the questions.
Sure. One question actually I think speaks directly to the resources that you're sharing. So somebody in the Q&A asked, how many posts ahead of time and day of do you recommend posting for Giving Tuesday, keeping in mind that many of us are very small nonprofits or a one-person marketing team?
Do you want me to start, Melissa, and then you can
Sure.
provide some examples from Charlotte too? But I love this question because while I work for Giving Tuesday, I'm also the board chair of a kids grief camp in my area, and we have one team member who works 10 hours a month, and the rest is all volunteers. So I absolutely feel the pressure of being like a 0-person team in some cases, right? And what we've done is we put the posting on individuals. Like our institution page will post once or twice a day in the lead up to Giving Tuesday, 3 or 4 times day of Giving Tuesday. But we're relying on our buddies who are our 18 to 25-year-old volunteers who come to camp to be sharing our fundraiser, because our fundraiser is to cover the $70 per person per day charge that the buddies have. So we pay for volunteers at camp, right? Like it's $270-ish a buddy. We ask them to help us raise that. They don't have to pay it if they don't raise it, but they're out talking about the experience they had being at grief camp, the impact it had on them, the impact it had on their camper, why it was a life-changing experience. And they're the ones sharing that story. Our institution's page, while we may reshare, we're not the ones telling that story. They are on their personal accounts. So I really encourage you, if you are a small organization, to think about who are those people that can share their own stories on their own accounts from their own perspective of what it means to be involved with your organization, so that you don't have to create all that content. That's the goal. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely piggybacking off what Victoria said. I mean, we start probably, we're already posting because, we're the ralliers that, this is coming. And so, we start 2 months ahead of time. But, I think it's the more you can give other people to share the information. I mean, we give our toolkit so that everyone is saying the same thing. I think, awareness is good. But, if you're really strapped, just make sure that you're doing it kind of around that date and amplifying it, because people are looking for who's doing it. And so it's important to let them know that, you're the one that's helping to rally it. But definitely give other people the tools to go do it.
Thank you. That's a really great question. And yeah, I would just like to emphasize that part of this movement is really this. You talk about democratizing access. I mean, I think there's a whole theme of democratizing access to all of these digital marketing materials that otherwise you'd be spending time and resources in developing. And folks, and one of the things I think is so cool about Giving Tuesday is how essentially open sourced all of this really great content is, right? So, it really, partnering this year together, I've been going through it all a lot, and it's really good. So I also just as a peer, encourage you to dig into that participate page, dig into any of the resources that Melissa is sharing, because that's also how you save time and free up your bandwidth to, maybe post more or, leverage those community advocates. So I think we have a really interesting conversation from Avery in the chat. And Avery asks, how do you make Giving Tuesday more than one day? I feel like it is easy for posts to get lost in all the noise when everybody is posting. So I think that's very unique because it's sort of a symptom of something going really well, right? Like if everybody's posting about Giving Tuesday, this movement has gained so much traction. Yeah, how does one? Do you have any best practices, both for Victoria and Melissa, on how does one sort of emerge from all of the other folks who are talking about this in the same period of time?
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts on this. So I was talking with our leader in Canada the other day, and she said something that was just like such a mindset shift for me. We were talking about this exact thing, and she goes, Victoria, would you ever hear a small business say they're not doing Small Business Saturday because it's too loud? And I was like, oh my gosh, Nicole, you are right. Like, we're kind of perpetuating this idea of like scarcity by saying that. So, really thinking from like an abundance mindset of there are people out there who have not been asked. Our Giving Pulse data shows that. I'm in the Midwest. Half of the people in the Midwest say they haven't been solicited. So there are people out there who haven't been asked. And as someone in the sector, you probably follow a lot of nonprofits on your social media, you get their emails. The average person outside the sector isn't getting bombarded in their feeds like we are in the sector. So another mindset shift in thinking of who are the new people who haven't been invited to this space, and how can we message, identify the audience that we want to get to, and message in a way that they're going to be excited about what we're doing. So not so much advice, but more of like mindset shifting to thinking that like you're right, Stephen. The noise is good. The fact that everyone is talking about it is good. And we don't see other sectors saying, I'm not participating in Black Friday, Business Saturday, Cyber Monday because it's too loud. I think that we need to lean into the loudness and get louder. Tell the world the amazing things that we're doing. Melissa, do you have
Yeah.
any?
Yeah, no, I love everything you said. To your point, like people, nonprofits worry about like how many emails they're sending and how many social posts, but I guarantee I get 5 a week from Banana Republic, and they don't, I never bat an eye and get mad at them. So, I would say too that, just because you asked for $1,000 on Giving Tuesday doesn't mean you can't come back in a couple weeks and ask for that money to help send more kids to summer camp or do something like that. You can make the same ask or turn it around and thank the people that gave on that day or thank your volunteers. So there's just ways to continue that conversation over time, and it should not be just a one-day deal. You should be continuing it over time.
Okay, that's great. Okay, we are gonna respect everyone's time. We're gonna stop right at the hour, but we're gonna do our best to get to everyone's questions. So, Leonore asks, can you touch on receiving funds from other states and rule of thumb for facilitation and compliance? I think I personally love when the questions get into the weeds here, and Victoria, could you speak to that about sort of compliance in terms of receiving funds across states? This is far out of side of my domain, so I wouldn't even
Yeah, I know each state is different and like totally depends. Like here in Michigan, I know there's a $25,000 threshold before you need a solicitor's license. I know it's different in North Carolina. I know it's really different in California. I think California has kind of some of the strictest laws right now. So if you are a national organization that is considering soliciting nationally, talking with your tech provider to see what type of vetting opportunities they have, because there are some of them that will help you make sure that you are correctly licensed and they can see the volumes that you're doing and they'll know. If you don't have that, I definitely recommend connecting with the National Nonprofit Alliance and your state alliance and the state alliances across the US that will know the laws in their area. And you might have to start small in picking a few states to dabble in before going full scale, but there are resources out there. to help you determine what you do and don't need to do for each state.
Okay, great. And is there any sort of place where if folks need it, how would they reach Giving Tuesday if with any of these questions? Is there like a QA portal or anything that participants could go to?
Yeah, info@givingtuesday.org. We check that email so frequently, and get back to people, especially around resources and questions. Prioritize those so they can reach out, and we will get it to the right person. I did see someone earlier asked specifically about outside of the US. And if you are outside of the US, I'm going to put a link in the chat right now that links to all of our other country campaigns. You can also reach out to that email address and we can get you connected with your local country leader, because we do have 110 of them now. So I am just like US, I work with our Canadian leader, but we have hubs in Europe, Africa, India, and Latin America and the Caribbean, and they can help you get in contact with the people in those countries if you are located there. So
Okay,
yes.
great. I want to go back to a question that happened in the chat fairly early on, and it was a detail about what do when we were looking at that graph about local giving versus, other regions. What does local, this is from Jackie in the chat. What does local mean? Are you referring to the city you live in or a metropolitan area? So, there's just I suppose Jackie then dug a little deeper and said that specifically there's a difference between the local and state in that graph. So could you just speak a little bit to the data there?
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this data is it's donor perception, right? So someone might be giving to a national organization that has a local chapter and identify that as local because they're in their community. So this is donor perception data. So it's how the giver is identifying where they're giving. So it's kind of hard to answer that because the options were local, outside of your local community, but still within your state, outside of your state, and then international. But how people define that themselves, local might mean their neighborhood in how they answer, or local may mean their county. So it's kind of an interesting question because there's not really I don't know what they were thinking when they answered the survey, but they identified it as local, right? So that I think that's the important takeaway is people identify with the word local in how they give.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you to Yolanda for the comment on my hair in the chat. It means the world to me. I would like to sort of and with just a few thoughts from you, Victoria and Melissa, on really, you know, being so involved in this work, and obviously why we're all here is to serve our communities. In TechSoup's case, our community is you, everyone on this call today or in this presentation. First, Victoria, and then Melissa. What is speaking from the heart? What does Giving Tuesday really mean to you? Why, why, and what this has become, and why is it so important for our sector? And I'd love to just hear just a little bit of closing thoughts from you on that.
Yeah, for me, it's really a day that invites everyone to be a part of the solutions to their whatever they see as a problem in their community, whatever that community is. And I think that's really special because people are looking for ways to get involved, and to make a difference. And this is a day where we invite them to be part of it. So it's always magic to just watch what's happening in my local community on that day, what's happening nationally and globally, and seeing how much people truly care about their neighbors, and those in their communities.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would just say that I think nonprofits give back 364 days a year. So if we can carve off one day to celebrate them and promote them and the great work that they're doing, I don't think that's asking too much. And to Victoria's point, like it's a magical day. It's a day that is filled with a lot of happiness, a lot of fun. At least that's what we try to make it out to be. To celebrate the nonprofits in Charlotte and in all that they do to support us year round.
Thank you, Melissa. And so with that, we're going to just about wrap up here. I am sharing a link in the chat for if you want to kind of dig even deeper into Giving Tuesday, we are so honored in a few weeks to be hosting another talk about Giving Tuesday, but this time with TechSoup's CEO Marnie Webb and the CEO of Giving Tuesday, Asha Curran. And that we're going to be actually digging in a little bit deeper into some of the why behind, if this webinar was really about a lot of the how, about like how do you really maximize this event, we're really going to be touching on the why behind giving and Giving Tuesday and this global movement of generosity. That'll be on November 6th. So I dropped a link in the chat there too. Please join us. I think it'll be a really interesting conversation. And with that, I'm so grateful for your time, Melissa and Victoria. Thank you for sharing these important resources and your thoughts with our wonderful TechSoup community. To all of you out there, thank you for doing all you do. Please reach out to any of us on the call. I keep calling it the call because it feels kind of like we're all just hanging out. Please reach out to any of us with any questions you may have. So with that, have a wonderful day. Thank you for all you do and take care.